other people's opinion is really not your problem, is really none of your business. So you just keep on doing whatever you want to do and do it scared. Yes, it's scary. Yes, what if this, what if that, what if it works? What if you succeed? What if what happened is the best thing that happens?
Feel like saying amen. Hi, Natacha. Welcome.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
Ooh, ça commence bien, on va s'amuser. We're going to have a very good time. How are you today?
I'm great. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have you on the Break Time with Patty show.
Same for me. I was looking forward to be with you today.
Yes, it's long overdue, long overdue.
Indeed.
Yes, dear friend, Natacha and I met through, correct me if I'm wrong, Natacha, Instagram, I believe, because we have a friend in common, Claudine Hilaire, wonderful lady.
Hey,
hey, Claudine. And somehow I started following her amazing content, and the rest is history. You're about to find out. Let me introduce Natacha to you. Who is she? She is a video marketing strategist and a social media marketing expert. She helps entrepreneurs and corporate leaders leverage video and content marketing to promote their business, personal brand, gain more camera confidence, so they can also build an engaging online community and generate leads. Number 2, she is also herself a short video content creator. She shares amazing, inspirational, educational, and hilarious content on most social media platforms. Please go follow her. We'll be sharing all her handles later on in the interview. Number 3, finally, and most importantly, she is a wife, a mother, and a friend. I've talked enough. Let's jump right in. All right, dear Natacha, can you tell us a little bit about little Natacha as a young girl? What was it like to be in her shoes growing up, please?
Well, I really, really like this question because it's one of the rare times where I get to go back to my little self. Well, I grew up in Haiti before I came here in Montreal, in Canada. And my grandmother will always tell you, my paternal grandmother, I lived with her while my parents were here in Montreal before my brother and I came here. And she will always tell you that I'm the little girl where everybody in the neighborhood would stop by in front of the house because of my goofiness, you know? And I think that same little girl, even though at times along the years was forgotten, but I think that little girl always comes back somehow, you know, that little girl who loves to make people laugh, who loves to entertain people, and who loves to somehow, hopefully, inspire people.
I didn't realize that you were raised in Haiti. So how old were you when you got here?
I was 7 years old, almost 7, when I got here in Montreal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, happy you made it here.
Yes. So yes, I remember the you know, when you do things for the first time, when you experiment things the first time, and I'll always remember taking that first plane and eating a hamburger, for, you know, the beef patty and the bread and everything. I had never had that in my life, you know. Now burgers, it's like, you know, burgers is like, you know, you had burger. I had like hundreds of burgers, you know, but I will always remember my first burger, which was on the plane.
Wow. And did you like it, or was it weird?
thought it was bland.
Missing some spices and typically
I know, the Haitian spices, you see all the flavorness and all that. It was so bland.
Oh, I hear you. I always go a little bit extra when I marinate my meat. We just have to represent. The salt and pepper doesn't cut it.
Girl, bedazzle that meat.
How did you go from a corporate job, because you were an executive assistant, I believe, to being an entrepreneur? Well, was there a turning point that made you go through that transition?
Well, not quite, I should say, because the entrepreneurial blood genes has always been in me, in my body, ever since I was young, organizing things, being involved. I remember doing, fashion shows, organizing shows in high school, getting involved in things like that, with friends, starting projects, like always doing something entrepreneurial, except we didn't have a name for it back in the days, right? We didn't call it being an entrepreneur, and so I've always had that really, really close to me, same as when my spouse and I, we also opened a special event, Montreal nightlife type of business. We did parties, we did events in different clubs in Montreal. We had guest DJs from international guest DJs coming in and stuff like that, some different artists. So always had the entrepreneurial side not far away from me, except this time the only difference is I think it's the first time, whether it's Creative Natacha, whether it's my online business, it's really me. It's the solopreneur that took over, I would say, the last few years. It's the only difference.
Okay.
It's me wanting to somehow prove to myself that I can do it on my own. Not that I don't need any help or support. That's not the case, because you always need help and support, right? But it's more like, you know what? I think I can do this. I can do this online entrepreneurship on my own. I can prove to myself that I can do this.
Yes, you can. And there's so many tools out there when we don't know how. YouTube, there's so many resources, people who do this for a living to help people who have been through it, who have knowledge and can share the information. That's what you do. You help a lot of people that way because, you learn. And even books. Look at my library, it's a bunch of people, some of the best minds in the world, who put their thoughts and their tips and their tricks in a book for you to read.
Agree.
Right?
I agree. And I must mention, especially after what we've been through in the last 3 years, we were in isolation in 2020, and we were the people that took advantage of it, right? The people that took advantage of that, we had access to free virtual summit, mastermind, master classes, workshops, and you're talking about, great leaders that have put their thoughts and their minds into creating books. Well, these great leaders, they came on virtually, on Zooms, on Facebook, in Facebook groups to inspire us, during these last, and they're still doing it, even though we're kind of back to normal, and I'm putting normal because COVID is not over, but normal somehow, and we had the advantage to have access to all of that, and most of them were free. Most of them were free. So we were so nourished.
Yeah, just one last thing about this. Often people said it was such a waste of a year, waste of 2 years. No, I did a whole lot of things. I went back to school. I published my father's book. there were things to do. Even now, like it doesn't matter. Things are so somehow back to normal, as you said, but there's always an opportunity to do something. It's never time wasted. When there's nothing to do, when you're trapped in your house or whatever, there are things you can do. It's just a question of disciplining ourselves and having a vision of where we want to go. But
I was so busy in these past 3 years, girl. I was so busy.
But we have so many options, Natasha. Like we can watch Netflix. I know you've already binge watched stuff. You know, I can binge watch like a TV series. There's so many things we can spend time doing. So we cannot say we don't have time. We have the time, we're just choosing to do whatever else with it, right?
Exactly. And it's funny that you're talking about binge watching. I'm a big Netflix fan. I love watching movies. I'm the person who loves the binge watch, okay? I'm just like you and just anybody else. But somehow that year, I can barely tell you how many movies I watch, any series I watched on Netflix, whether it's on Prime, whether it's Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever. And I have them all. Believe me, I have them all. But I didn't watch anything. I was on YouTube though. I was, on Zoom, connecting with people and, nourishing my mind. That's what I was doing. Reading books and yeah.
Boom. Okay, so going on to another topic, I've heard you mention that you suffered from imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome was like my middle name most of my life. And that you also had to overcome camera shyness, which is very hard to believe, but I'll take your word for it. Can you share how you managed to get from low self-esteem to confidence, please?
Whew. Well, to tell you the truth, I think for everybody, it's really personal to each, depending, of course, of whatever background that you have, whatever trauma you might carry with yourself, and so on and so forth. But for myself, came from something in the past that happened to me when I was in high school. When the first time I tried to give an oral presentation, and feeling so nervous in front of the class, because I used to be very timid, very, very shy, very timid person. Once I broke the ice, okay, I was fine, right? But still, I remember getting in front of the class and being so shy and so nervous. And I was holding my notes and the paper was shaking so much. And nervousness gets me to laugh. Okay. Some people react in a different way when they are nervous, when they are stressed. Me, it's automatic, like nervous laugh. So I saw that paper trembling. I started laughing, laughing at myself. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? This paper is trembling. It's so funny. And then the teacher gave me a fat 0, And so like, Mademoiselle Blanchard, go back to your seat. So I think this, and sometimes you don't realize those things, right? You don't realize like some stuff you carry, even they might sound little, to someone else, but you carry stuff, with you. So I carried that until I know I remember saying, I'm never speaking in front of people anymore. I'm never, and I don't know how I managed, but I avoided it until I reached 18 years old. And my friend, she goes, Natasha, there's this contest, and Miss Haiti, I don't know if she goes, there's this contest. I know you might like to participate in it, because I was into those things, right? But she said, I bet you're not going to be able to, girl, because you're going to have to make a speech. I don't know what took over me. I took the challenge. I was like, you know what? It's time to rip the Band-Aid. It's time to get rid of that. This not in so many words, but I knew it was something that I needed to get rid of, that something that eventually I would, some skill, who knows, that I might need later in my life, So I did it. And for myself, and just like I was saying before, for some people, you might need another approach. For me to get rid of something, I need to rip up the bandage. I need to put myself against the wall, such as participating in that beauty pageant, because I knew I couldn't say no and cancel it out, and chicken out of it,
No.
I knew, so I had to do it. So fast forward to now, getting back, being on social media, where of course I wanted to connect with people online, and I realized, first time I tried to do a video, I realized I was still back to that little girl in front of the class with the sheet of paper shaking in my hands, And once again, for me, it had to be putting myself against the wall. So that putting myself against the wall was to say, okay, you know what, Natacha, you're going to show up for 30 days live, no strategy, had no idea what I was going to talk about. Just show up. It doesn't matter. Start with 5 minutes, start with 30 minutes, start with an hour. Just show up. And that 30-day went to 60 days, went to 3 to 4 months. I interviewed other people, overcame that camera shyness, of course, but I got so many opportunities out of it. So many opportunities beyond that wall. And so put into that also, at the same time, evolving into, the imposter syndrome, where it was, okay, I'm doing this, I'm breaking my comfort zone, but at the same time, who am I to, share my expertise about this? What do I know about that? Who should I be to give people 3 tips about this and that, But what helped me, of course, I read a lot. Mindset, working on yourself, especially when you're showing up online. It doesn't matter if you are an entrepreneur or just, someone who's involving in life regularly, working on yourself is something that is important. It doesn't matter where you are in that. Working on yourself, working on your mindset, self-empowering yourself is super important. And that's what helped me. I read Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule. So whenever I hesitated, I would kind of count the 5 second backward and say, okay, press on record, Natacha, or post that post that you want to share. Post those 3 tips that you just put out there. So these there are things that you have to support you, whether they're books, whether it's motivation, whether it's friends, because I also have a great support system. I have Claudine that we were talking about, that's always there to support me. I have my girl Tatiana, who's all the way to Portugal, that we became friends during the isolation, during COVID. And that's someone who's always supported me, who's always told me, you know what, you are creative, which I didn't believe before. So I have all that also helped me a lot. But it's also these moments where you're like, okay, you know what, just post it, do it scared anyways. So that's it.
That's beautiful. Oh, I can relate to everything you just said. And I will not add because you gave a lot of details. So that's exactly what I had to deal with. Just that overcoming, that feeling of I'm not good enough. Who care? Who wants to listen to me? What do I know? Is just, you know what? Somebody needs to hear whatever we have to say. Even right where we are, 1, 2, 3 people need to hear it. And if you can help these people, I'm good with it. And
exactly.
Alternative is not doing anything. And it's such a shame to not do anything, because it's like the death of our ideas, the death of of whatever we can be. We're not even giving it a chance. We have to start screwing up and failing and not doing good and embarrassing ourselves, if we want to call it that way. And then we keep showing up, and then eventually we get to being a success. All the success stories start with failures anyhow. So I'm really admire you for everything that you do, actually.
Thank you.
So inspiring.
And you know what? The truth, let's say the truth as it is, where lays that where you're afraid of, there's the perfectionism. There's the perfectionism. It's perfectionism. That scare that I don't want to. It's perfectionism, because you're thinking, I'm not doing that because it's not ready yet, because I haven't put this on it yet, because I haven't applied this more. I need one more this, one more that, one more this, one more that. 3 years has passed. 5 years has passed.
And then your whole life has passed. They're excuses.
Exactly.
Then you die.
Right? You're in your deathbed and like, oh shoot, what happened?
Damn, I should have done it. You know? So I'm curious. You share so much amazing content, as I mentioned. Can you share, how do you come up with all those creative ideas? I mean, you even call yourself Creative Natacha. How do you get all those like original, unique ideas? Like what you do, I don't see anybody else doing it. So how do you come up with all that?
Some ideas I get because I just take things that happen to me, in real life. We're talking about, imposter syndrome, analysis paralysis, fear of camera. So I try to find some humor into those things, And so that's how I come up with my ideas. I just look at, sometimes there'll be a situation that will happen to me, or like something that comes into mind, and I'll be like, I need to do a reel or a TikTok about this, because that's what will inspire me. Or I'll be, scrolling, watching, a video, and I'll see someone do something, and that thing will inspire me to do something else. Or the voiceover, or the lyrics of a song. Sometimes I'll be like in the kitchen, and a radio song could be playing, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I can do something. The lyrics remind me of something, so I'll write it down, and I'll I'll do something about it.
Natacha. You're a very busy lady, okay? Let's say it like it is. You're a content creator, a video marketing strategist, a wife, a mom, and you seem to have a very active social life. I'm assuming you must, if you're human, get social media fatigue and deal with overwhelm at times. I'd love to hear some wisdom on how do you manage to stay grounded and balanced and not go nuts?
First of all, and I'm talking for myself, I don't think there's ever balance. I mean, let's be real, okay? There's no balance. There's always something, like the balance is always never on the right freaking side, all right? Let's be clear on that, okay? I think it's one thing, when we take away that pressure of finding balance, that's I think that's one thing that gets us, less stress. Finding time to take care of yourself, finding time for self-care, I think that's what's mostly important. That's one thing. Now, for social media fatigue, social media overwhelm, a few years back in 2018, when I started really taking social media seriously, producing content, marketing really for my business, I almost burnt out because I thought I had to post 3-4 times a day. When you don't know, you don't know. The things that you don't know, you don't know. But when, so I went into it thinking I had to do all the things, had to post like 3 times a day. For months, I did that. Of course, no results, no strategy really. But I learned my lesson. And what happened was, although it took me some time to, really, really find my footing, if you want, I think last year in 2022, after posting, I used to post every day. That's after, burning out, after, really finding something that was sustainable for me. After posting for like 7 days a week, I realized again that I didn't have to, because as you were saying, it was not a burnout, but it was more like, between getting into the rabbit hole, the social media rabbit hole, right? Or trying to find that, when am I going to take some time off for myself? I had to get sick from COVID last February in 2022, to realize that, you know what? You don't have to post every day. You don't have to be in your stories every day. You can find a schedule that is sustainable for you, that doesn't have to be you being on social media 7 days a week. Like when do you take a break, Natacha? So last year, I started posting. I only post on my feed 3 times a week. In my stories, what I find is there's something different. Yes, you can, promote your business and all that stuff. You can even sell stuff in your stories. But I like stories because it's like being with my friends. It's like hanging out in my friends. So the routine, if you want, I have with my stories, I almost post in my stories every day, but it's not even a second thought, because it's more like, oh, this, you know what? I'm going out, I'm going for groceries, I'm having coffee, I want to say something, just like I would, WhatsApp my friend Claudine, or send a meme, or send a random thought to my friend Tatiana, in the DMs. So that's how I perceive my stories. So that's why I don't burn out from it, because it's just sharing with a friend all the time. And for the rest, I really found something that's really sustainable for me, that can still make me grow, into my business, get people into my business, get the authority, the visibility I want, without having be there every day, basically,
Yes, I love that. Yes, me too. I get very drained. I'm not a social media person, believe it or not. So I show up, because I have to share my content, right? I mean, I interview amazing people like yourself. I want to share it with the world, but I have to work on this some more,
Mm-hmm.
for some strategies, but on how to go and just be myself, show up as myself, etc. So that I've been working on that. That's my new way forward. But I love to see you go, and you make it look so easy. Like sometimes there's this guy Nero Gazinski. We both follow him, and like I actually interviewed him too. For a 90-second clip, it takes him 4 to 5 hours of work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so time consuming, because the role plays, right? Different roles, whatever. But you just show up, and you do things that look like it takes time, But sometimes you're just showing up, you're walking, going up, and it always looks so professional and fun and easy. It's like, why does it? I don't think it's as easy as she's making it look, but she's making it look really easy. But apparently, maybe the way to go, you have the secret formula.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, because if there would be something that I would want to leave with people today, that's exactly it, Patricia. There are some videos that I create, and I do the whole editing part, like basically I'll take a long form video and I'll edit it, even if it comes from a live or a replay or something like that. But you are absolutely right. What made it easy for me is really recording on the go. Just like you said, when I walk, when I'm, I could be in my bathroom. And it's not that I always have the smartphone in my hand, by the way, yeah? Because some people might be like, oh my God, you got to have the video in your hand all the time to do all that stuff. Like you got to be recording all day, every day. No, it is so not true. Of course, it's a routine. It's like a discipline that kind of got rooted into my life. I'm a video marketer. What do you want? Like that's a passion. So of course, but one thing I want to leave with people is that I've found a way where it doesn't matter if it's every day, it could be Monday to Friday, where in my routine, whether it's for my stories, whether it's for, creating a video, I will create one long form video that I take and I'll edit it and leverage it to my other platforms. That's all I do. I do the work once and then I leverage it. And you're good at it too, sister.
Thank you. I've learned from the best.
Very good at it, So I've learned to leverage the things that I do. And I've learned also to leverage my time. So when I'm on the go, when I'm walking and you see me walking and doing a video, it's because, in my routine, once a week or 3 times a week, so whatever, I know that on my way to whether to pick up some lunch, whether to go for an errand, there's a video that I create, a 1-minute video or a 2 minutes video. But it's something that I picked up by doing it, routinely, basically.
Oof, I'm taking notes. Yes. No, a lot of the things that you see me do, I actually been got inspired by you. Because you give us tips. No, it's true. You give us tips. You should do this and that and that. It's like you share very valuable content actually. And even this idea, because I have so many interviews that are recorded, they're long. Nobody who has an hour to watch things, right? Unless it's I have some hardcore fans like my mama that watches things. And whenever I release videos, usually the close friends or family of the people I interview, they watch it, let's say. But other than that, it's it's long, right? People that you could watch a whole practically 2 episodes on Netflix with that. So that's why I love to share short clips, like 90 seconds, or even on TikTok, you can even go to 2 minutes, 10 minutes actually now. But at least people have time for shorter content. So yeah, so I just try to put it everywhere. Those are tips that you share all the time. So thank you for your good tips. And actually, speaking of social media, the social media world is a very special world. There are lots of opportunities to connect, but a whole lot of craziness as well. I'd like to ask you 2 questions then. What do you like the most about social media, and what do you like the least, please?
What I like the most is the opportunity that we have to have access to amazing information, amazing people. We can connect with people from all around the world. We get to learn from so many topics from all around, for free and fast. And what I like the least about it is basically that too, in terms of, the information that we get, and some algorithms and stuff like that. So this would be the part I like the least about, because sometimes I wonder, and probably maybe other parents wonder the same thing too, is the information we're getting, is it, just cookie crusted information, because our algorithm is basically feeding what we want to see, and we're not seeing the rest. You know what I mean? So I think that's one thing we got to be careful. You take some information, but you always have to make sure that the information that you're getting is 100% true, and there are ways to find out that the information is 100% true. And it's the same thing from experts, from other marketers, big leaders that are telling you, they're making, I don't know, 8 figures this and 8 figures that, and when you really, really look into it, it's all air, So these are things that I like the least about social media, but at the same time, it's the same thing that can be, can enrich you, the information that you have access to, basically.
Yes. Remember the good old days when we had to go to the library with the
Oh.
library cards to work? The encyclopedias and the books, and you had to
yeah.
return it back.
I loved it. I'm a library. I'm a next library, bookworm. And I remember going into, the little drawer with the little fish cards where you had to find the book. They gave you the referral in a note, and then you had to find it and stuff like that. Oh, here's the book. And sometimes the book wasn't there on the shelf.
That's correct. And then you were charged penalty fees. Anyhow, don't get me started. So yeah, the times have changed. The times have changed. 10 cents a day, right? Or 5, depending on what it was. Yeah, now it's all out there. It's all out there. And okay, I have a little question for you. Since you're such a wise, knowledgeable lady, what is your best advice to someone who's watching us right now? They feel like they have a dream, but they don't know how to take the first step because they fear humiliation, embarrassment, failure, rejection, you name it. What's your best advice?
First of all, even if you do fear rejection, even if you do fear other people's, what they might think, I say do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, other people's advice, other people's opinion, they're not you. That's one thing. And if you are going to live your life off of what people think about you, or of what people might say, might think, might react, then remember when we were talking about, being at 100 years old, at 90 something years old, in your deathbed, and going like, oh my God, why did I listen to these people? Why did I let these people influence my life? And these people are not even in my life anymore most of the time. So that's the advice. Do it. Do not there's a, I know it sounds cliche, but it's so true. Other people's opinion is really not your problem, is really none of your business. So you just keep on doing whatever you want to do, and do it scared. Yes, it's scary. Yes, what if this, what if that, what if it works? What if you succeed? What if what happens is the best thing that happens? That's the what if I want to leave you with.
Feel like saying amen. Yeah, we all get an amen.
Woot, woot.
Yeah. Yes, Natacha. And all I would like to add to this exactly, I was nowhere to be found before 2018. No, what am I? I'm lying. Since 2021, my face was nowhere to be found on the internet. I did not want my face to be found, okay? And I was very, very private, living my life in the world. And anyway, when I started this whole journey, like because I wanted to help out people, right? A specific group of people, women particularly. And I figured, why would they listen to me, first of all? And I'm nowhere to be found. But then I figured I have to be found if I want to share something. So I decided to, just like that, put myself out there. And I figured there's people who judge me, who would judge me and say, who is she to give people any advice? They're going to be thinking whether I do nothing at all or not. So I figured, whatever, I'm just going to put myself out there and I have nothing to lose. Anyhow, don't get me started on that.
I remember the first couple of weeks I started doing live, and with all my shyness and all my, my fears and stuff like that. And I remember going to someone's birthday, and someone met me that saw my videos, and I remember the person going like, "Oh, look at Natacha now. Oh no, oh, she's doing little lies now. She's doing, what you doing, girl?" Like, we're a little mock, very mockingly, And I'm pretty sure it wasn't, the person wasn't trying to be mean or anything, but it's just, for me, it's just like somebody telling someone you're too much. Who are you to say somebody's too much? You're never too much. You are yourself. You know what I mean? And I remember that really stuck. And if I had let that stop me, and we're talking about 2019, around those times, if I had let that stop me, I wouldn't be here sitting and talking to you today,
Ooh. Yes. Yes, Natacha. And again, very, very briefly, the thing that shifted for me is, and that made me not pay attention to these people that would have said things like, or made me feel that, who are you to like, is I had lived most of my life in shame. And when I was 40, a very wise man, actually, by the name of Luc Dumont, had said, imagine talking to your 100-year-old self about to die. What do you think they would tell you to do differently from today until you get there, so that you die with no regrets? And when he had told me that, because obviously I kept going back, I should not have done this at 18. I should not have done this at 25. So I kept like beating myself up for mistakes that I've made. But then I realized those days are gone. They're not coming back. So I have from now, even if I die when I'm 80, that gives me, I was 40 at that moment, that gives me another 40 years to do things properly. 40 years. So I said, well, to hell with the first 40 years, I can start from scratch. And that's when I said, that's when everything went to, I'm going to just show up and take it or leave it, basically. So that's why.
And I remember, like we said, that's how we met. I remember Claudine shared something to me, and I was like, who's this girl? And I was looking through your stuff, and it's like, oh my God, she's so fascinating. I'm so following her. She was like, yeah, she's my friend. I was like, oh my God, she's from Montreal. So, girl, bravo.
We have to.
We wouldn't have known each other if we didn't put ourselves out there.
Yes. And somebody out there needs to hear your message, my message, and whoever's watching, they have a message too, right? It's not for everybody, this whole social media, but there's a way you can impact people around you if you just step out and just do it. Do it afraid, as Natacha. I'm quoting you now. Do it afraid.
Either it's among your church, either it's among your work environment, either it's amongst your community, your local community. There are so many ways to impact when you want to,
Yes. Bon, let me get on to my next question. One of our last questions, actually, but it's a very important one. So clearly, you used to be a shy little girl growing up, and now here you are on all major social media platforms. What is your best advice to someone who suffers from the fear of public speaking or the fear of using social media, like pushing record to promote their own business or their message. And I'm saying this because even business owners don't even promote their own like brand and their own products on social media, but that's such a huge opportunity. Anyway, what's your best advice for them, Natacha?
First of all, you just said it. If you're not on social media as a business owner, you are missing out. You are totally missing out. You are missing out on free advertisement, basically. Let's just be clear. You know, that's one thing. The second thing, social media is not. I'm trying to think of, you know, any objection someone would have, like from going offline to online. It's not difficult in terms of you do not need to be tech savvy. The way they have made those platforms, it's very user friendly. Even if you're an early starter, you can easily, you know, hop on there and start doing your thing. And you can hire someone, you know, if you're a business owner, you can definitely put a budget on this and hire someone to do it for you. And everybody has a niece, you know, a daughter that's on TikTok, that's on Instagram. Start there. Tell them, you know what? Sit with me for half an hour. You know, show me how the darn thing works.
It's true. Make the youth work
Show
for
me
you.
how it works. So that way, eventually, maybe I'll hire someone or I'll hire you to do it, but show me how the darn thing works. And let me sit down and show me how it works. But it doesn't mean that you need to do all the platforms, but social media is very important as a business to have to promote your business, to eventually, you know, generate some lead, to eventually generate some even some sales. Okay, now that's one thing. The other thing is, think about, like I was saying about, you know, the free advertisement you get, but think about the fact that you, in one post with one picture with one caption, you get to reach thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people every time you shoot something on social media. So imagine the exposure that it has on your business. Of course, you need a strategy. Of course, there's a whole thing behind it. But just that tells you how powerful social media can be for yourself, for your business, even as a personal brand. Because some people, they're not necessarily running a business per se, but you know, they want to put themselves out there. Maybe they want to, you know, do some affiliate. They want to be a influencer, you know, in some way. There's a place for everyone. The market is not saturated, basically, even though there are millions of people using social media, but the market is not saturated. So yes, do go on social media. Stop thinking about that there's no place for you. There's a place for you. That's absolutely true. The reason why is because people are looking for authenticity. People are not looking for perfection, you know, all makeup, all always dressed up, and the beautiful light and people are looking for authentic people just like you and me to connect with, the businesses to connect with. And that's another thing. Businesses, and they are aware of it. Even big brands are understanding that authenticity, story, personality sells more than just a product, more than a service, which is awesome for you and I now on the social media space, is because you get to take some time to connect with your audience, to connect with your potential clients and your existing clients online, you know, by showing, like we say, you behind the business, not just the business, but connecting. And that's what people are not buying products anymore. People are buying because of who you are, because of the connection that they get with you. So it's the perfect time.
Mm. Yes. And you help businesses yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about the services that you offer, please?
Yes, I do. I help online entrepreneurs to, well, I have different levels of different tiers, like they say. I help with video marketing strategies. I also help with, editing. I create templates, anything related to social media or content strategy. And right now I'm in the work for a group workshop that I'm developing, a video studio lab group session that I'm working on.
That's something I would need. Very good. I'll make sure to attend. My last question. What is the next step for Natacha Blanchard, please? Besides that workshop, but yes.
There's a couple of things in the works. Of course, is to keep on putting my stuff out there for more speaking engagements. That's for sure. But what I would say that's hot in the works is actually there are two things. There's just realized there's something I'm working with Claudine, and we will announce it very, very soon. But there's something we're working more in, not virtual, but on in Montreal, more locally, for women. So that's what we're working on. And also behind the scene, there will be a podcast coming soon, a podcast that will address overthinkers, online entrepreneur overthinkers, where we're going to address anything that's related to the mindset, but also anything that's related to taking action. Not just staying in the why do we do the things we do. Yes, why do we do the things we do, but how do we get out of it and actually take some action?
Yes.
So that's what's in the work for Creative Natacha.
Cannot wait to see it all unfold. Finally, if someone would like to start following you, what is the best way?
You can find me on Instagram at Creative Natacha. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on LinkedIn under the same handle, Creative Natacha. And you can find me on Facebook.
Perfect. And the best way to reach you, to ask for to use your services, it's all on all those platforms as well? Do you have a preferred way?
Exactly. I have my link tree. As soon as you go on my Instagram, you can find my link tree with my services. If you want to know what the things I'm working on now, they're all there.
Great. Thank you. Oh my goodness. The problem, I could keep you here another 2 hours and we'll still not be done, because I always have such a good time with you. But let me wrap up what stuck with me today, dear friend. Just show up. Just show up. If ever you have issues with balance or anything, work on yourself, on your mindset. If you're shy, just push record, post those tips, do the 5 seconds rule from Mel Robbins there, and just do it. Find a great support system. Surround yourself with uplifting people. And when you share content, you don't have to go all out. You could just share your life challenges, things that are happening to you on the day-to-day. And yeah, so make your content even more relatable, more effortless, and get your inspiration from other content, and then just put your own personal spin to it. And there's no such thing as balance. Stop trying to beat yourself up and finding balance. There's no such thing, she says. And I agree with her. And find time to take care of yourself. And do not burn yourself out on social media. Okay, you don't need to go post 3 times a day. Find a schedule that works with you, whether it's once a week, twice a week, once every 2 weeks. Just make it work for you. And if you fear something, just do it anyway. Do it afraid. Well, any parting words, a story you'd like to share with us before we go, Natacha?
Yes, I think the one of my favorite quotes that I like to say is always remember that it is never too late. Never, never too late. That's my parting word.
Oh, thank you. Had such a good time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having me.
feel even more inspired than I was before I met you, and I have even more admiration for you, getting to know you a little bit better.
Thank you, Patsy.
Dear friend, I hope you enjoyed this half as much as I did.
I did. I
Yes.
did enjoy my moment with you. And you had such great, insightful questions. Really,
Oh,
really good questions.
good. Well, they were inspired by your story and everything that I see you do. And I just want to know more. And I hope that our friend at home or wherever they are got to enjoy this. I would love to leave you with this. The power of your voice can change the world. Find it and use it. See you in the next video. Bye.